up, what up? Welcome to 69th Base with Doug Mellard. I am Doug Mellard. How about that new theme song, huh? First time doing that. That was my boy Kevin Dean and Ryan County really knocking it out of the park. Pun intended. We had a lot of fun. We just drank a bunch of vodka and put that together. Kevin Dean is a genius. Also give a shout out to his brother Pat Dean, who's a very funny comedian. But thanks to Kevin and Ryan. I'll plug them, give them shouts out on the 69th Base Instagram. Anyway, welcome to the podcast, episode 5. I got a lot of fun stuff to get to. We're going to talk about Jason Whitlock essentially making fun of himself because he's a complete piece of shit and he's really dumb. We've established that. Also, Will Cain overreacting as usual. A theory on why Skip Bayless is so dug in on Tom Brady playing forever. And also a really dumb Skip Bayless revelation. We revisit a classic Stephen A. Smith flub. And what the life of Skip Bayless's dog is like. And much more. But before we get into all that stuff, I want to dive in like I do at the beginning of the podcast and a little bit of personal stuff. And I have a special drop-in guest that just happens to be here, a very funny comedian that happens to be in our apartment while I was about to record. So I was like, why don't you pop on? So I've got the very funny MK Paulsen.
Hello! Hello! That's all my comedy is, just like voices. Oh, hello, lady. What's going on? All right, please Jesus Christ. Welcome to the podcast, MK Paulsen. Is that Smeagol?
I don't...
Smeagol.
Wait, let's both do it for a minute.
The podcast? Please, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, man. Well, we just...
The listeners love it.
Several people more. Just turned it off.
Yeah.
So
somebody just drove into a median in South Dakota. Just, like, I can't live this way, and I've had it.
Oh my God, that just made my night. So I do a little personal story up top. Usually has to do with something that happened to me recently. So this past weekend I was in Orlando opening for Dan Cummins at the Improv. Great shows. Thanks to everybody that came out. All you time suckers, check out Dan's podcast. This will be the second time I plugged it, but going backwards because I recorded the other section last night. Check out his podcast, Time Suck. Half my podcast this episode is going to be me plugging stuff.
Plugging other podcasts.
Other friends' stuff. But so anyway, we were working in Orlando. We had so much fun telling our silly jokes. But at the hotel we were staying at a resort. And lovely resort. It's very nice. But there happened to be, you're going to love this, there happened to be a Tupperware convention.
Oh, perfect.
at the hotel.
Sign me up.
And it was crazy because when I got in, I was so exhausted, but I was like, I'm not going to nap. I wanted to get a nap in before the first show because I flew across the country on almost no sleep. And, usually I like to take a little power nap or something before I start prepping again. Mm-hmm, but instead I was like, I'm going to go downstairs and see what this is about.
You're going to get tupped up?
Yeah. Yeah, we created all this Tupper vocabulary all weekend. Tupper hubs. That's
You're a Tupper whore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a big one. And a Tupper hub is a husband that's been drug into it. There's definitely some of those guys. We talked to a guy on an elevator about that. But my favorite part, and there was a lot. My favorite part was there's no other way to put it, and I know it's PC time right now, but most of these people were old, white, larger women. Gals, and
gals, you might say.
And
the PC term for that is gals.
So we were in a standard issued hotel hallway, many times.
Yeah.
But you would have to get out of the way because usually two people can fit and there could be traffic in a hallway, but not. And this is also Florida. I think that can paint a picture.
Yeah.
And so you would have to get out of the way. And a lot of times too, they were holding these a million bags filled with Tupperware or whatever. It was crazy. But at one point, this was so hard to not just laugh hysterically at, and but it's also like, on level not funny, but it's funny. There was, I believe 5. I think there was 2 bigger gals. One.
You don't have to say bigger. It's assumed. When you say the word
well,
gal.
especially when I get to this big detail. The first one was in a standard wheelchair. Excuse me. And the second one was in a rascal right behind her. Mm-hmm. They're all in a line. A direct line because they can't walk side by side. Or yes, a Tupper raid. Tupper parade? Tup parade. Yeah, Tup parade. And then there were, 2 more behind them, and then this larger gentleman with a polo shirt and khakis. And Dan and his wife Lindsay and I all had to back up against the wall as they went by. And Dan, just being polite, goes, "Oh, a lot of Tupper traffic today." And they thought that was so funny, but, like, not in a way that we, like, we're laughing because it's funny on a level, like, comedically, that, like, almost making fun.
Yeah.
But they took it as,
like, a level of irony there. It's
yes.
like, for sure that they're not getting.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were just like, "Oh, this quick one, boy." And so I'm already, the way they're set up. So the woman in the rascal is pushing her friend in the wheelchair, and it's like a caboose type situation almost. But so she's pushing her, but her rascal goes pretty fast, so she's kind of hitting the wall and stuff a little. Like, it's not going well, and so I'm already thinking the way they're, like, so close together in my head. I'm like, it's like the human centipede, but, like, the weirdest Tupper centipede ever, and human Tupperpede, and so I'm already like, don't laugh at that dog, because it would look like I'm laughing just directly to their faces. What is in my throat? But then they go by, and well, the guy repeated at one point, "There is a lot of Tupper traffic today," and then laughed hysterically at his repeat of the joke. But then the woman in the rascal pushing her friend goes, "I'm trying to run a train." And I was just like, "Oh God, don't laugh!" Like Dan, Lindsay, and I could not look at each other. It was just like, "Oh, please don't. We can't make eye contact."
Oh, I love it.
And just like, so imagine, just
Tupper train.
A Tupper train, yeah.
The train's leaving the Tupper station.
But we just
gotta hit the rails and head out west. This Tupper train is leaving.
And that party train just.
I bet they got fucked up.
They were probably in a hurry to just get to a line of coke immediately.
Can't hear the word rascal talking about a mobile wheelchair and not think it's the most condescending name for it.
Right. Rascal.
We're gonna rascal tonight. Rascaling around at our Tupper convention.
Also sounds like something really small that wouldn't be able to support someone that's larger.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on 1 second. And we're back. Sorry, I had to take care of whatever the fuck was going on in my throat. Anywho, that was the Tupper Train. Just could not believe that happened. It was
Doug had some cum stuck in his throat.
Yeah, it's it happens.
That was homophobic. And I feel bad that I said it. And I don't know why I have to out myself to every podcast I'm on, but I am a gay guest. So I feel like I can make fun of Doug for having cum in his throat, as I am a homosexual.
But there is cum in my throat.
You're losing listeners at this point.
Yeah,
there's nobody left.
We had the Smeagol thing, and then
and he's gay.
And then the gay homophobe, which makes no sense. But hey, I want to. So you're not a big sports person, but I normally don't have a guest on this portion, but I thought it'd be fun to have you on because you're so funny and we're pals. But
stop it.
But yeah, so you're not at all a sports person, really,
not
right?
Really, not
and
really.
you don't know who Skip Bayless is, right? None of these.
I have a vague notion.
Yeah.
but
But
I don't know.
to me, it'll be funny to get your take on this, though, because I think you'll still be able to like chime in a little bit. So this is like my big rant of the week. I usually do this solo, but you can just listen and then jump in here in a second. So Skip Bayless was talking. You're not going to know any of this shit. Skip Bayless was talking about Kyler Murray on his show, Undisputed, and in the middle of talking about how great this quarterback is going to be, and he's a rookie, he's just starting in the league, and he's going to tear up the league. He's just really pumping him up because Skip Bayless from Oklahoma, and this guy went to college in Oklahoma. In the middle of it, he brings up a tweet of his that he has, and he does this a lot, and it drives me crazy that, like, he'll just, like, mention his Twitter and read his tweets on his TV show. So his tweet was, disappointed in Kingsbury for not letting Kyler play at least one more series. I realize the offensive line is pretty awful, but the kid just needs reps. The more he gets in these preseason games, the better he'll be in week one, and he can be very, very good very quickly. But my whole point is, like, how much validation do you fucking need if you're already on TV and you're like, look at my Twitter, I was right.
Yeah.
Like, you're stopping the show to talk about
What is he, a comedian?
Yeah. Not at all. He tries to be, and it is so funny to me when these guys on air, like, most sports people are not funny.
Yeah.
So, like, when they try to make jokes, you're like, Jesus. But, like, and his whole timeline on his Twitter is just desperation to begin with. So, like, it's just like, this guy's ego, this is why I don't like this guy. He's just all ego. So it's just so funny to me that, like, and he's pushing 70, and a lot of his pictures of him flexing, and, like, here's a picture of my car. He's just showing off that he has money, but it's like, yeah, you need that validation because everybody hates you because you say dumb shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just very angry. It's like he just needs to jerk himself off on his own show, I guess. Like, and he also never points out the tweets where he was wrong.
Yeah.
Those are most of what they are. But I don't know. I just like, I just think it's kind of rude and shallow. And hey, man, I told you I was right.
Do something to earn those retweets.
Yeah.
Just don't get to be on TV and get retweets.
Yeah.
Have something good to say.
It's like if they're already following, like, yeah, like I don't know if he's trying to pick up Twitter followers. Like, what is that? Like, it's him pointing to himself. That's what's like crazy. It's like, if it was somebody else's interesting tweet that is valid to the subject, that's one thing. But if it's your own tweet, like, and you're already saying those things, like he already brought up that point, but then he's like, I also brought this up in this form on this social media platform. Like, who the fuck, like, why? Anyway, drives me fucking nuts.
He is a garbage barge floating in the sea.
See, you hear that, folks? You don't even have to know who he is.
I have no idea what we just talked about. I don't want to be one of those guys that's like, I don't get sports. But you said some things from Twitter, and I was like, I have no idea. Can I get a translator over here?
That's me in life all the time. Well, hey, but thanks for jumping out on the rant and the Tupper Train.
The Tupper Train will live with me forever.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. I feel like we should go to a Tupperware convention.
I would love that. Oh,
meet some people.
Yeah. And
you could do some man on the street stuff for this podcast.
I tried it. They had a lot of security. I was trying to like get in deeper. Yeah. It's a big deal. You have to have all these badges, and there were people wearing flair and stuff.
I mean, how much like Tupperware? What? I just don't. In the same way, I don't understand sports. I don't understand this. Like, who's actually going to Tupperware conventions to buy Tupperware?
Look, nobody understands this.
Go to the grocery store or IKEA or anywhere.
Yeah, Dan's already doing a bit on. He had a 5 to 7 minute bit immediately that like first show.
Just you guys.
Within hours of being there.
Yeah,
it was amazing. It was so funny. But
I love it.
Anyway, before I let you go, you want to plug?
I have a podcast. If you like this one, you'll love it. I live down the street from Doug. Well, a little ways down the street. And I do a podcast. It's all about my 74 roommates. And I run it with one of my roommates, Simon Gibson. You can check it out. It's called Roommates for Life. That's roommates, the number 4, life, L-Y-F-E. Yeah, we're those kind of guys. That's how we spell it. Nobody's ever going to be able to find this podcast because everybody thinks it's spelled F-O-R, LIFE.
And part of that was because you guys were on an Amazon. What was the name of that again?
We were on a TV show on Amazon Prime called Inside Jokes. It's a really great docuseries about stand-up. It follows us as we're going. So we're auditioning for a pretty big comedy festival.
And people kind of liked y'all's dynamic and stuff.
We were both on it, and people liked us. So we put a podcast together to talk more about our dumb lives as comedians.
And Flynn and I are going to be on there soon.
You're going to be on it ASAP.
We'll do double plugs.
I've already texted them 14 times over the last month to be like, can you do it today? Can you do it today?
It's happening within the next week or two. It's going to happen. So look out for Roommates for Life. You can follow it on Instagram as well. And you're just MK Paulsen for Instagram. Well, thanks so much, man. I'm going to sign off for a second, and then I'm going to bring in my guests, and you're going to notice that I'm a little delirious on this next part because I had been flying and hadn't slept in weeks, but I hope you enjoy. All right. Oh, also, here's a fart. There it is. All class over here, baby. MK's just laughing hysterically.
I had to turn the mic off. Is this still going? Are we still going?
Oh, well, yeah. I wanted to get a reaction to the fart.
I dreamed of farting into a microphone my entire comedy career, and I've never done it. And you so blatantly, without any worry.
I've had more than one person be excited about it, so now I'm giving shout-outs to people.
This is my dream. It's like doing a podcast with Peter Griffin.
You can do it. Oh, that's my favorite compliment. Oh, there's another one that was small. Now I'm talking, and it's trapped into this foam. I'm going to have pink mouth.
That's your new guest microphone.
Yeah, this microphone is it's sealing it in much like Tupperware. It's all coming back around. Wow. Tupper
What a Tupperware party we've had.
Tupper party. Tupper party. All right. Thanks again, man.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with another guest. I've got my guest here. Please welcome Joe Faina, everybody.
Right.
There we go.
Here I am. Hello.
Joe Faina, we're connected. We're a very funny comedian, Joe Faina, and we're connected from the Austin comedy scene.
That's right. Another one of us. There's yet another Austin Texan in Los Angeles.
There's a lot of us now. Yeah. And you have a sportscast. All right, off to a good start already. I can't say words anymore.
Me and Bob Costas.
You've got a sports podcast as well called Not a Fan.
That's right, Not a Fan.
That I've been on. I really had a good time. You want to
you
explain that a little bit?
You were great on it.
Thanks, man.
It's always, speaking of Texans, there's just always fun to have a Cowboys fan on, even though I cannot stand the Cowboys in any way, shape, or form. But those fans are everywhere, and they just find me.
Yeah.
And I will never tire of listening to Cowboys fans hate themselves the most.
Yeah. See, yeah.
And so I can't get enough of it. Even though I hate the Cowboys and I wish we'd stop talking about them all the time, I also love when the Cowboys fans are just unhappy.
Yeah. Which is a lot.
It's most of the time.
But what's the premise of your podcast?
So the podcast is, so I'm a big sports fan as well, and most of the conversations I end up having with comedians that's how I always find my in. I figure out what teams they're fans of, and then we just go from there. So I have people on who are fans of teams that I am not, and they come on and I say, "How dare you? How do you live with yourself?" And so it's prime location to find the Cowboys fans in Los Angeles.
Yeah. The Oxnard's not too far.
That's right. Training camp is out here, so that's part of it. There's a lot of Cowboys fans in California for that and other reasons, right? America's team.
Yeah. I'm sure the listeners already hate that we talk about the Cowboys so much, but
just like the rest of the league.
Yes, but what sucks is about Skip Bayless and Will Cain. They talk about it so fucking
Skip
much.
Skip Bayless loves the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Right, he's a Cowboys homer.
Yeah, it's the word.
Right,
but
it's because of Jerry Jones. There's something about Skip Bayless and Jerry Jones. Of course, those two have each other.
Yeah, and I feel like I bring this up every week, where I'm a realistic, an honest Cowboys fan. I talked about it in your podcast.
Yeah,
and these guys are not.
You have to be.
But it just sucks because it feels like. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Cowboys again. I'm sorry. It's not because with Skip and Will, it's because they are homers, that's why they bring it up. I bring it up because they bring it up, and the subject is them. So it's God damn it.
That's just, there are very few certainties in this world. There's death, taxes, and the inevitability of having to talk about the Cowboys on a football podcast.
Yeah. And so you're obviously very familiar with Skip Bayless and all these Stephen A. and all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good guys. All real fun.
Great guys.
characters.
Nothing but insight and important thoughts and evaluations of the nature of human athletic achievement, especially at the professional level.
Only intelligent things come out of their mouths.
At all times.
But before we really rip into those guys, I want to tell you a story I told up top.
Yes.
So I was on the road this weekend opening for my buddy Dan Cummins at the Orlando Improv. All the shows were great. It was really fun. Thanks to everybody that came out. And
great town, Orlando.
It was fun. A lot of very touristy, But,
Right.
I mean, I was in town almost as much as I was on the plane. I was just there for like a day and a half. Basically.
Orlando's one of those cities, like, unless you've been there, you only ever see it on television as a studio.
Right.
As a kid, you're just like, you know about Disney World and you know about Nickelodeon Studios.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then you remember the Orlando Magic.
Yeah.
And that was about it, right?
And Mickey
then
Mouse.
you get there, and it's a much different place.
Yeah. But we happened to be sharing a hotel with a Tupperware convention, and it was an interesting crowd. And as like a couple comics staying in a hotel with that atmosphere, very fun to just go down a lobby.
Well, you gotta go check it out.
Yeah. Like it was all older, bigger white women for the most part.
Yeah.
And then a few husbands that looked very miserable, like I was drug into this shit.
Yeah,
But
Carol's making me.
Yeah. We talked to a guy about it at one point, and we were coming up with all this weird lingo and stuff about these people, but sweet people. They seemed happy. I'll say that about them. But here's the story. So at one point, I was getting off the elevator, and I was with Dan and his wife Lindsay. Queen of the Suck. If you're a time sucker, Dan's podcast, Time Suck, it's the best podcast. Check it out. Anyway, plugging stuff in the middle of a story. That's not the way to do that.
The podcast way.
Just helping friends. Anywho, so Dan, Lindsay, and I are walking down the hallway. This is a standard hotel hallway. It's a big hallway.
What kind of hotel is it? Can you say?
It was a resort. It was.
Okay.
I can't
Well, I guess
remember
that's
the
all
name
there
of
is
it.
in
It was a
Orlando.
huge. It's like
You on Disney World's resort?
no, but it was basically like like any resort where it's like you're living in a city for the weekend. Like
Yeah.
it was so big that like
You have to make it a point to go outside.
Yeah. You can't. Usually when you like go to a comedy club or something, there's shit all around. Like I'm gonna go to CVS, take care of a few things.
Right.
Like you're just in this town within itself, and so we're walking down a standard hallway in the hotel. Big hallway. But a lot of these women are a little bit bigger. Not to
Okay.
be too insensitive, but they were big. And so we literally had to back up against the wall, the three of us.
Yeah.
While they come down, there was, I think, 5 of them. 4 women and 1 male at the back wearing a polo shirt and slacks. And the 2 women in the very front,
Yeah.
they're all quite big. The 2 women in the very front, the first one's in a standard wheelchair. The second one behind her is in a rascal, like a little scooter.
Okay.
And she was pushing that woman in the wheelchair with her rascal. And they were all in this like very close line, especially because one was like basically being
So it's
towed.
like a flank.
Yes.
It's like a flank of Tupperware ladies.
Yes, and we all had to like again, we're against the wall. We had to like suck in our guts and like back up.
Yeah.
And the first thing I think with the way they were
You're
set
sucking in
up,
your gut.
Yeah.
So how
like,
do you
just
feel
to,
in
just
that
to
moment?
you're right. I still felt pretty good about myself, but as they go by, Dan, to be nice, was just like making like kind of friendly, goofy small talk. He was like, a lot of Tupperware traffic today. And they all thought that was hysterical.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
So you're killing in the hotel.
Yeah. And then the first thought I have is I thought of the human centipede, the way they were set up. Like
Oh
they were
my
all like
God.
so and it was like the worst human centipede.
Well, they say all those animals have ingested plastic anyway.
And but then as they go by, he says a lot of Tupperware traffic. The man in back goes, "Yep, a lot of Tupperware traffic today." But then the
Wait,
woman,
so this guy's trying to piggyback off his joke?
Yeah. He's like repeating it to get another laugh like a shithead. I hate that so much. But then the woman pushing the other woman, it wasn't going well. She's like, her cart was going too fast. So she kind of slamming her friend on the wall, like her friend in the wheelchair. And we're trying not to laugh. And then, the woman pushing her just goes, yeah, I'm trying to run a train.
Oh my God.
And it was just like the funniest thing you could say without, like, she wasn't trying to be funny. Or, she wasn't thinking what we were thinking.
Her friends.
Yeah.
So she goes back to work, and she's like the funniest person in the office.
Yeah, but
she'll kill like we'll never kill.
I don't think she knew what she meant when she said, I'm trying to run a train.
Oh, yeah.
What we thought was what we thought, and I think what the audience will think. But she was just saying, like, choo-choo.
Did anybody else catch it in the moment? Just you guys?
The three of us, for sure. But we all had to, like, immediately kind of turn, and we couldn't look at each other because we'd die fucking laughing.
Yeah, so she thought she's like a conductor.
Yes.
Of sorts.
She was just, like, being, like, silly,
oh my
God, it was very uncomfortable, like.
What do you guys think they put in that Tupperware?
Yeah. Their pussies were sealed tight.
Ooh, yeah. Vacuum
that
sealed.
Shit fresh.
Popping fresh. It has that little burp when you open the lid.
God, I wish I wish I had videotaped it. I saw it coming, the train, and I was like, I should tape this. But I was like, I'm going to look like an asshole. But I bet they wouldn't have cared.
We got to get their consent. It's very important.
Yeah, you can't, like, tape people in wheelchairs. This is pretty horrible.
Right.
I just sound like an
well, unless you hashtag it World Star in some way, but then it's got to get more violent.
Yeah, true.
If it gets real violent, you put at World Star on the bottom of the video, then all bets are off.
Let's jump into
it.
The Skip bashing.
Yes.
Do
you think Skip has Tupperware in his home?
For sure. He has a wife named Ernestine. She's for sure got some Tupperware.
That's right. Okay.
Maybe that's what she does.
She's
a mystery person. Maybe nobody knows what she's really about.
Yeah, it's like some of these people. It's like Jay Leno's wife.
Yeah.
Like was her name Mavis?
I didn't even know he was married.
Jay Leno's married to someone I think like Mavis or Mabel. It's something like that, and then she's never shown up ever other than an occasional reference. All right. So Skip Bayless.
At one point, the last few days, was talking about Kyler Murray, and after one preseason game, he's going to fucking dominate. After one preseason game, which we're going to get into some more of that later.
That is not what I thought he would say in that moment.
He loves Kyler because...
Why?
He
loves
he's
Oklahoma.
From Oklahoma. Yeah. He grew up in Oklahoma.
Didn't he famously, he predicted, he's like, Oklahoma is going to win the national championship, and Landry Jones is going to win the Heisman. Book it immediately.
Always, yeah.
And then neither one of those things was remotely true.
But while he's, talking about Kyler's domination...
Yeah.
He brings up a tweet that he had written, while the game was going on. I guess Kyler did one series, I think.
Yeah, and all these young quarterbacks just started. We were talking about Hard Knocks. I watch Hard Knocks every year. I can't get enough Hard Knocks.
Right.
And the preseason is happening, so we're in the second week, right? And so all these guys, all the young dudes, they all come in and play one possession. They play one set of snaps, and that's it.
And especially
everybody wants to make a take on how that's going to make their careers now.
Right. Yes, it's ridiculous, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more with another dumb take. But the point of this one, though, is Skip points out with this on live, on his TV show. He was like, I tweeted about this, and then he reads his own tweet on air. He said, this is his tweet. Disappointed in Kingsbury for not letting Kyler play at least one more series. I realize the offensive line is pretty awful, but the kid just needs reps. The more he gets in these preseason games, the better he'll be in week one, and he can be very good very quickly. But the problem I fucking have with this is, how much validation do you need in your life where you're you have to read your fucking tweets on your show.
I'm right. To show evidence of how right I am.
Yes.
Here's me saying it on a different screen.
And he does, you're on TV, dude. That's bigger,
Well, yeah, this guy should be president of the United States.
Yeah. Any of these guys, really. But he does this
technically one of these guys is president of the United States.
And he does this shit all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, his whole timeline on Twitter is just
He's
desperation.
just unable to not step in it.
Yeah.
Constantly.
He's just, it's all me, it's all ego all the fucking time.
So you had a problem, but do you have a problem with his,
I mean, I have a problem with all of
assessment
it.
of Kyler Murray's first set of snaps?
I mean, he played great, but it's preseason, and, you know, so who gives a fuck?
That guy's too tiny to play.
Yeah.
That'll be my
we'll
take.
See what,
that'll be my take.
That's
like,
my take, and maybe I'll get burnt by it.
I understand, you know, he's one of those baseball players, right? He was going to go play baseball, but wants to have one. It just seems like it's like the worst possible scenario for him, starting off anyway, for Kyler Murray, because he's like this big-time baseball prospect who should be awesome.
Yeah.
He's already got a major league contract, but he wants to go out in the glory days of football one more time. So he's going to play one last season at Oklahoma while he still can. Just so happens to win the Heisman Trophy that year.
Yeah.
And now it's like, well, you can't give that up. Like, to be a shot, I get it. To be a shot at a quarterback, you know, the most famous in the most popular sport, but playing baseball is clearly the answer for this dude. He's tiny.
Yeah.
He's going to get manhandled. And so I just, so far, I'm just like, they just eat those dudes for breakfast. These little tiny, like, Drew Brees looks like a giant.
Yeah.
Compared to Kyler Murray.
Right.
And he's like a young dude, but I did not think that. I thought that Skip was going to go that direction.
No. He's
forgot about the Oklahoma
it's just
angle.
the Oklahoma connection, and but yeah, I was just so fucking aggravated with the fact that he always points out his tweets. But meanwhile, like, he tweets shit all the time that is incorrect. 9 out of 10 times he's incorrect. In that case, well, he's also incorrect in that they shouldn't play Kyler. That's in preseason. You fucking save your guys that you don't want to get hurt. Like, that's...
Dude, you bring them out to see if they look competent at all and then shelve them.
Yep.
Like, the fact that they play preseason football games at all, to me, is wild.
God, I fucking hate Skip. Another guy I hate, we're going to move on to the worst takes from some of these other jackasses. Jason Whitlock. You familiar with Jason Whitlock?
Oh, my God. Jason Whitlock. Yeah.
That's
Talk about a guy who's
reaction.
going to be in a cabinet position soon. Jesus.
They were talking about on Speak for Yourself how in California they're going to soon ban tackle football from a certain age group for kids.
They were talking about it on his show?
Yeah. And he was saying that's an overreaction.
Uh-huh.
And he said people overreact to whatever media narrative is being pushed, which I thought was so funny coming from a guy who pushes the narrative in the crazy, overreacts to everything.
Everyone else is just doing a take or playing politics or playing favorites except me.
Yeah.
Only
exactly.
me. Don't listen to anybody in the media except me. I'm not the media. I'm here. I'm the only one telling you, don't listen to the things you're hearing other people with recorded voices say. Jason Whitlock is another one of those dudes. It's like it's just how outlandish can I be?
That's his whole thing is he overreacts, and he's saying, like, complaining about the media overreacting. It's like, you are the media, and you overreact, you fucking piece of shit.
Right.
And then he was talking about how, like, when he was a kid and got into football, he had aggression issues as a kid, and, like, because he had ADD, and if it weren't for football and tackling, how else would he have dealt with aggression?
Yeah.
But my first thought was...
How else could you...
Eating.
What other kind of outlet could you do?
Eating. For him, it was eating.
Yeah. You're also just like really, really overweight.
Yeah, like...
And you're a big dude, and so you're going to hit people because you've got anger issues.
Yeah, like, what? Yeah.
What else could I possibly do?
How could I stop fighting people?
It's like a self-own.
There's no other
epic
way.
Proportions. Jason Whitlock, did he play professional?
I think he played college ball.
Okay. Yeah,
For the longest time, I gave him absolute zero credit. I still do, but at least like when I heard he played ball for a while, I was like, okay.
Skip Bayless played ball. Like he overstates. He played college, or he played
high
school.
High school.
High school basketball.
1.4 points.
Yeah, he was bad at it. But he talks about it, like, I know what it's like in a locker room.
I gotta find that actual clip.
He played. Yeah, what is it? He was on the roster of a team that went to the state finals.
Right, I think.
So technically, he played for the state team in the final.
Andrew Polk was on last week, and he was saying, like, Skip probably argued that like those 1.4 points were the most important points of the game. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Everybody contributes.
They brought me in the game when we were down by 1.4 points.
Yeah, every
and
time.
I would drain it.
Our team would win close games, and when everyone's got to pull their weight, when it matters in the close counters.
Will Cain. Let's move on to.
Okay,
oh,
Will Cain.
No. Sorry, what were you saying?
Well, Skip Bayless. So he's an Oklahoma guy. He's just like a local radio dude there. I just remember him from all the ESPN talking head shows.
He was in Dallas, he went to Chicago, I think.
Oh,
like,
yeah. He's definitely a Cowboys guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But another Cowboys guy, Will Cain.
Uh-huh.
Maybe my league. I think I like him less than Skip Bayless. He spoke, and this is kind of on the similar subject from earlier with Kyler Murray.
Is this with Kyler Murray? Okay.
Not, but in the same realm. He said that very firmly that the New York Giants have a controversy on their hand after one preseason game.
Yeah.
Because Daniel Jones looks so good, and he is sick of people telling him everyone's telling him to not stop him from saying it's a controversy. He's like, that's ridiculous because last year people came at him about Baker Mayfield after he said the same thing in preseason.
Oh, so he was right with one time.
He was right one time, so that's proof that Daniel Jones is going to be a fucking star after one game.
Baker Mayfield, I can't quit him. He's must-see TV.
Yeah,
I know he's an Oklahoma guy.
but
It's hate the team, love the player. Like,
yeah.
I don't like the Browns. I certainly don't like Oklahoma. But I can't not watch. He looked great.
Yeah.
He looked incredible. And just like, that dude looks like he's ready to go to the Super Bowl now. Like, I would not bet against, his hot take.
Out of anybody in a
Baker
preseason
Mayfield.
game, I think he kind of really showed off this year. But
he didn't need to be in there. Maybe that's what it is. Like these guys in the preseason who like they're way too good for it.
Right. But
so he was right about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, so that's proof that Daniel Jones is going to be. But it's like, meanwhile, think about the hundreds or even thousands of guys that did well in the preseason. Every season, there's
just look
so
at all
many
of these
people
guys' old takes
Yeah,
and see how many times they got them. Eventually one of these number one picks is going to be good.
I remember as a child, or like 7th grade or something, there's this Pittsburgh Steeler named Charles Johnson, I think, that caught this amazing one-handed touchdown, dragged his toes at the corner of the end zone. I fucking watched that highlight a million times.
Put this guy in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and then he didn't do anything. I don't even know if he made the team. Like, it
Odell
happens
Beckham
every
Jr.
year.
ain't really done much other than a couple of like really awesome catches. But like, that dude ain't been in the playoffs.
I mean, his stats are there, but he gets injured a lot. And, But it's just saying. And in that same, like maybe 5 minutes later, within the same segment-ish, they start talking about Will Cain starts talking about Dwayne Haskins, and he's
Washington guy.
Yeah, and he goes, Dwayne did not play well, and he says people shouldn't overreact to Haskins not playing well, and it's like, dude, he has
words don't mean anything.
Yeah. Like, Will Cain has a law background, and it's like, you just fucking defeated your own argument in the same fucking episode.
Lawyers are really good at that.
Yeah. But it's like, how can
you do not have to be smart to be a lawyer.
Daniel Jones, after one game, is the best quarterback of all time. The Giants are fucked. Dwayne Haskins is going to be okay, maybe. You can't overreact. You just played one game. You can't go both ways with that. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't, but people just tune in. They just have to hear. They have to hear about these takes.
Yeah.
And, like, NFL preseason is, like, prime grasping at straws. Like, no one has any idea in preseason who's going to be good or anything. They always want to anoint the next person immediately.
Yep.
People the same thing with, like, Robert Griffin when he came in. He was great immediately, and they're like, build this guy a statue, and then he's on his 5th team.
Yeah, like most of the starters don't play really. Like the stars don't play at all.
Brady didn't play.
Yeah, Brady last year played a lot randomly for the first time, but he's not gonna fucking play. Yeah. Nobody's gonna play.
Brady's not even gonna show up to a game until like December anyway.
Right. I honestly love the preseason. I like watching games because
it's good that football's back. For the first time in a while. I mean, the NFL especially is a total shit show. Like in terms of just how they handle their own press.
Right.
But like for the first time in a while, I'm just kind of glad. Like it's there's like a balance back to the universe
Right.
when Sundays have football games
Yeah,
again,
yeah, yeah.
Saturdays have college football games again.
I just love watching like the 6-stringer guys that are trying to make the team.
Yeah.
Because they put in the effort, man.
Yeah.
They're killing each other.
Right.
And like the fourth quarter, like it's getting like they're like, let's
Yeah.
see what this guy's
I
got.
want total brain damage for $900,000.
Yeah.
Partial guarantee.
But I mean, it's like if they don't make the team, they're like, gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those guys are gonna like be working for UPS or whatever. Like,
That's
so
right.
it's fun to watch like these guys really like
Yeah.
get a chance, and I don't know, man. I appreciate
It'd be fun if they
that.
did like takes for those dudes.
Yeah, man.
If they were
Yeah,
just make the
yeah.
hottest takes, just amplify their profile as much as possible.
They did that a little bit in Hard Knocks. We were talking about that off air. Like, there was
Oh,
a
yeah.
guy that they pumped up, and then they cut him immediately.
Yes.
And you thought it was gonna be like the feel good
Oh, the
story.
guy from Last Chance
Yeah,
U.
yeah. They're like, oh, this guy's gonna make the team,
Yes,
even
I
though
was
it's looking
all into
shaky.
it, dude. I get all wrapped up. I'm still upset over when the Rams were on Hard Knocks when they had T-shirt guy.
Mm-hmm.
I forget his name. It was T-shirt guy. My lady was watching it too, and we got all up on T-shirt guy. He was like the
Yeah.
center. He was like a new guy on the team, and he made like custom like tank top shirts for all the offensive linemen. These big dudes.
Yeah.
And then they cut him.
Yeah.
How are you gonna do that?
Well,
Oh.
like in this one, I can't remember the Last Chance guy, but it really felt like, this guy, they're playing this up well, and then they cut him, and it's like, you just wasted a storyline. Why did you even
Yeah.
do that?
Well, maybe they mean business here.
Yeah.
Looks like he had his
Yeah, I
last
guess
chance.
Oakland, Jesus Christ. So moving on to Skip Bayless, another dumb thing that came out of his mouth.
Yes. Never ending trove.
Yeah, it's hard to pick with that guy. Everything is dumb that comes out of his mouth. But there was an article that they brought up about Tom Brady and how he doesn't age and how magnificent that is.
He doesn't.
It's true. It's true. But
He looks as great. You know what it's like? It's like him and Brad Pitt are both fighting over this. Like, who is the old guy who still got it? Who still looks incredible?
Brady looks like he's 12. I feel like sometimes.
They're gonna be great again. It's like it would not surprise me if he wins the Super Bowl again.
Yeah. No.
I can't believe it.
I'm gonna.
It's unbelievable.
But at some point, he is gonna hit a wall, just like everybody does. But
That's
but
what they say.
Skip. Well. Yeah, he's just
Not Tommy Terrific.
Yeah. But
What
like,
does Skip say about Tom? He loves Tom.
So yes, he. I think he.
White player, best in the league.
Yeah.
It's prime Skip Bayless territory.
But he was saying that he was loving how much this supported his argument that Brady's gonna play till he's 45. I don't think he's gonna make it till 45. He's 42. Yeah, but I don't think he can. There's already, like, if you look back at last season, a little bit of fatigue.
We're
like
gonna
in the
watch a
Super Bowl.
47-year-old Tom Brady, just yet again in the AFC divisional.
84. But he was just so excited about this article. But the whole thing was plugging TB12, like Brady's like training thing.
Oh yeah,
So
he's
it's
got
like,
his,
of
he's got
course,
his training program.
Yeah, of course it's
Tom
like a
versus Time
yeah,
documentary
it's like yeah,
series.
so of course it's like slanted in his direction.
Yeah, those dudes are just like cyborgs at that point. It's like you have to be the most boring person in the world to
Yeah.
do that. Like that's what they say about athletes like
Right.
him or like Derek Jeter is that they're so the reason they're able to remain so slick and then they never get in trouble for anything and they can play for so long is because they're just so boring.
Right.
Just so regimented.
But like Skip was
Never
just
says anything wrong or outlandish. Skip's job. That's Skip's job.
Yeah, leave it to fucking him. But Skip was just, plugging away that, like, he works so hard. That's why he's so different. He's the most unique specimen. But it's
Yeah.
also, like, Breeze is, like, 40, right? Like,
Breeze is old too.
there's
yeah.
more and
He's
more that
getting-
are, like,
he's
Phillip
getting
Rivers is almost
he's
there.
getting close. Yeah, those guys, and that's never not been the
Yeah.
case. Like, Montana was like, when he played for the Chiefs,
Yeah.
Montana was like 37,
Yeah,
38
yeah.
years old, right? There's been all kinds of dudes
Yeah.
like that.
But he's just saying that, like, he's special.
Marino
and
was like in his late 30s.
Yeah, because he works so hard. But it's like, what quarterbacks don't work
Yeah,
hard? You have to work
right.
hard. And Tom Brady does do crazy shit.
Well, of course.
Yeah. He is different.
Yes, it is impressive that he's the oldest player in the league
Right.
by a mile and is coming off winning yet another Super Bowl.
You're right, but Shannon also brought up that like there are rule changes that also lead to longer
Yeah.
careers because the quarterbacks can't be tackled. Basically.
You can't touch him. You can't even look at him. It costs you $1 million fine just to make eye contact with Tom Brady.
You can't look at him.
Yeah, at that point, and so
they did have that laser pointer scandal.
Yeah, they did have that. Someone was shining a laser pointer in his face.
That was me.
That was you. What did Skip say about that?
I can't remember. I'm sure he got very upset. That's a topic that I'm sure they talked about.
Yeah.
But why would you even have that on the fucking show?
Well,
Who cares?
I mean, they catch those guys immediately.
Yeah. That guy got in a lot of trouble, I think.
Yeah, you're like banned for life. It's like you can be. There's a big fine involved.
Yeah. But
Don't mess with Tom Brady.
But Skip just says, "Oh, it's hard work and it's his release," and it's like, Peyton Manning also
It's the only guy it applies to, right?
Yeah. You learn as you go, like Breeze, Peyton Manning at the end of his career, his release was so quick. That's what extended his career, but then he hit the wall just like everybody fucking does. Like
exactly,
it's gonna fucking happen, and it's also the evolution of the game. Like people used to smoke on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Like now you can pay, these guys can pay millions of dollars to have a team to keep them in shape. Guys used to be drinking the night before and like.
Well, they say these guys spend I read a story somewhere like LeBron James spends $1.5 million on his own personal body upkeep.
I thought it was more than that.
It's got to be more than that now. And Tom Brady's got like that shit too. Like they're all sleeping in these like hyperbaric chambers. Like he's got he's got every kind of state of the art equipment to just like basically cryogenically freeze his body after every game. A lot of these guys take those cryo chambers where they lay like in like a CAT scan machine.
Antonio Brown's feet are all messed up
right now. Yeah, he got like frostbite or something, right? Like they lay, but they cool him down, like minus 100 degrees, just in there like as fast as possible, just to like freeze their body.
Yeah.
And then they go they're like living in an ice bath.
That's so crazy.
All the time. Yeah, they're sleeping in like low air pressure chambers and shit.
You do that, right?
Of course, every day. Well, I mean, you got to get out because you're hitting the pavement, dude. You're hitting these. You're doing like 6 or 7 sets a night. You gotta have your body and your mind right. It's brutal out here.
I just hate that Skip is like Tom Brady is one of a kind, and he honestly I hate him, but he is on many levels. But at the same time,
he chooses to uphold this guy over everybody else.
You're gonna see more quarterbacks going longer. Like that's
there
just
will
how
probably
it is.
be more.
Brett Favre was 40, I think.
Brett Favre still says he's gonna play.
Yeah, he's still like.
He's like 46 now.
And
I want to see it.
But meanwhile, he's not the only old guy that's in shape. Like Hugh Jackman got pretty fucking jacked for Wolverine.
Yeah, he did do that. But Hugh Jackman,
like 10 years older, I think.
Hugh Jackman doesn't have to, stay upright when Terrell Suggs is coming
at him.
True,
that's very true.
Terrell Suggs versus the Hulk, who wins?
Oh, that's a good. Let's just
I'm going with Terrell Suggs.
I think Skip is so dug in on this 45 thing that he has to make that far because Skip is, I think, 67.
Oh, the Tom Brady 45. Well, Skip, he's also this dude that needs to let you know how in shape he is.
Yes,
all the
exactly.
Time, right?
I think that's why he's like.
So he thinks he is also. He's like, well, Tom Brady and I are a lot alike.
Yes, exactly. Like, I think he's living vicariously through Brady. And it's like, if Brady makes it to 45, I can make it to 200 and still be jacked.
That's right. But he only picks to do that about Tom Brady.
Right, yep.
Right, not any other player.
Yeah, Drew Brees isn't working hard. Phillip Rivers isn't working hard.
No, of course not. Aaron Rodgers isn't working hard.
If anything, Phillip Rivers has a harder time because he's got 800 kids. So he's got that to balance with his...
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure he's Father of the Year. It's so funny that he's now, in L.A.
Yeah.
Well, I guess San Diego. He's perfect for San Diego. And now he's right up here in Hollywood.
He's right by
country
us.
Dude.
We don't know.
Yeah.
And he commutes from San Diego still.
Does he?
He refused to leave his home with his 400 kids.
Classic. Yeah, they got some compound down there.
I want to know if that's actually true that he every morning gets in the car,
7
drives for
kids.
3 hours. Yeah.
I know.
I think 9. I thought it was 9.
Well, they all have personal drivers at that point, right?
Still, that'd be miserable.
Yeah, I've got no idea where the Chargers practice facility is.
Oof. Yeah, it's probably close to us.
Yeah.
Sticking with Skip. So Cowboys guy, Skip and me, I guess. But
Yeah, does that get at you?
Right. Yes.
Like, technically,
very much
Skip's
like,
on your team.
I really, and I've talked about this before, but it really gets to where I'm like, sometimes I kind of root against Cowboys because even though it's my team because Skip likes them.
Yeah, well, we deserve. You're like, we deserve this.
Yeah. And like, good, Skip's hurting today. But Robert Quinn got suspended for I think 2 games for PEDs, and Skip just kind of gave it to Shannon that like, look, man, this is really gonna fuck us up. And but he throws out there that like, why have the Cowboys always led the league in rule breaking and arrests? And then he goes on to say it's
Skip
always
was saying this?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Admittedly, and then he goes on to say it's always something with the Cowboys, which I thought was so funny because when he was on First Take with Stephen A's big argument was always that the Cowboys were an accident waiting to happen. So it's like he played right into that. Yes, and I know that as a Cowboys fan. I'm like, the contract disputes are already a fucking problem with Amari and Zeke, especially, and Dak. That's it, the fucking distraction. And now this guy's getting suspended. It's like, all right, what's next? What's the next domino? You know, like... They really are. They always find a way to shoot themselves in the foot.
They had that guy that had like a stockpile, had like an arsenal of weapons in his house.
Oh, right, yeah.
Greg Smith was the dude's name?
I can't remember, but I know you're talking about.
Lineman?
Yeah.
Well, it all starts with Jerry Jones, the biggest criminal of all.
Yes, yeah. But
Skip defends Jerry Jones, right?
Well, yeah, and you know, like in the '90s, we were winning Super Bowls with guys getting arrested and doing drugs all the time.
Yeah, but that's Michael Irvin. He's fun. That's different.
But we had Jimmy Johnson. Now we got Jason Garrett. He can't fucking hold his shit together.
See, Jimmy Johnson knows how to wrangle.
Yeah.
All these personalities, right? He coached the U. He knows how to deal with a bunch of unruly dudes, and And then he comes to Dallas doing the same thing. But, yeah, the problem is when a dude like that leaves and they have the same party, but, like, the guy who makes the party run or function or whatever is gone.
Yeah.
It's just Jerry Jones. You're finding out that Jerry Jones has no idea what he's doing. But he keeps signing. Yeah, they've never met a player with a domestic violence charge that they wouldn't still sign.
Oh, God. It's every other day.
Every other day in Cowboyville.
Skip keeps throwing out there, like, with all the contract disputes with Zeke and all that shit, that Jerry Jones will figure it out. He's a mastermind behind contracts. But it's like, dude, for, like, 15 years or so, we were always in, salary hell because we were still paying, as of like a year ago, we were still paying Tony Romo, I think, and like Des Bryant, and he's so
Terrell
bad at
Owens
it.
Probably
Mostly
still getting a paycheck at some point.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Roger Staubach is still getting checks.
R.I.P. still getting them checks.
Yeah, there's like dead Cowboys still getting checks.
Jerry Jones is so clearly a horrible owner, but of course Skip Bayless is like, well, he's just a genius. He just don't understand true genius.
Why is he fucking? You can go back and look at the damage he did, recently. I think Stephen Jones his son's kind of cleared some of that shit up recently, but still, I want to do a classic take.
Okay.
I want to do a little. We watched the clip before we hopped on.
Oh yeah.
Stephen A. Smith. It's just too good to not talk about. I think it was last year in December, the Chiefs and Chargers were playing each other, and Stephen A. Smith goes on air live with Teddy Bruschi. I can't remember who the third party was. Max Kellerman. And he goes on to talk about the players to watch in the game, Chiefs versus Chargers.
Yeah.
And he starts off with Spencer Ware, and Teddy Bruschi and Max Kellerman are kind of looking very confused. Spencer Ware had been out for a while.
Yeah. He's very clearly unaware of who was playing. He's not prepared.
Spencer Ware was not playing in the game.
Does not stop Stephen A. Smith.
No.
He doesn't even slow down. He just plunges ahead.
Yeah, it's like that train from earlier that we talked about. A runaway train.
Dude, and he's running a train.
And he goes on to talk about Hunter Henry, the matchup between Hunter Henry, who had been out the entire season. Yeah. I think maybe he played in like a few snaps in the first game, maybe.
And these guys are just looking at him.
Versus Derek Johnson, who was not even in the league at that point, I think. And it was just like, holy shit!
Yeah, he's gonna start calling up and then Herschel Walker comes in off the. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Stephen A. Smith is the
Don
only
Mattingly.
dude. Don Mattingly, Carl Yastrzemski. You know what I mean? Was
Carl
getting
Malone.
in. Carl Malone.
There were a lot
all
of
the
Carls.
All the Carls. Carl's Jr. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith is the only guy who I'm convinced at this point just exists to make Skip Bayless look good.
Yeah.
Because when he gets really out of his element and has no idea what he's talking about, which I guess puts him in his element, he always has to like get his advice,
Right.
or he has to get his background information from Skip Bayless, and that's never a position you want to be in.
Yeah. We've talked about it before in the podcast. I think he's at least like embracing that, like he's like a WWE style, just jackass, or it's just like this character. And like
That's one thing he has going for him is like, on some level, you feel like you get a sense that he knows he's just some outrageous character. He is his own
Yes.
he's a Muppet. Yeah. Right? Like, and they've had those before too. I've seen a Stephen A. Smith Muppet segment before. They do like Muppet characters on like they've done like the. Do you remember?
That's the thing. I haven't seen that.
It's like an old video. There was like some
I'm gonna check that out.
promos, but like I've seen some show where Stephen A. Smith was made into like a Muppet character, and it's like the Muppet character is tamer
Oh
than
my
the real
God.
Stephen A. Smith. You couldn't do a
That's
Muppet
funny.
of Skip Bayless because it would just start saying racist shit.
That's Will Cain.
Yeah.
Skip is actually, I think.
You think Skip is less racist?
Oh no, I don't think he's racist at all. I'll speak for him for
Wow,
that. That's the
okay.
one thing. It's Will Cain. Will Cain is the racist Skip Bayless.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to some quick takes real
Okay.
quick. More Will Cain and Skip Bayless.
Yes.
They both argue. So you know about the Zeke he's going to maybe sit out or whatever if he doesn't get his
Yeah,
contract.
moody running backs. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Oh, Zeke is such a piece of shit.
Is it worse to be a moody running
He's
back
really good.
or a moody wide receiver like Antonio Brown?
Well, I
Who's
think
also
wide
threatening to
receivers
sit
are
out.
notoriously the worst.
Yeah.
But Zeke, with his contract situation, he is 2 years out, so there is that. But Will Cain and Skip Bayless both argued that that he has no leverage. And I think that is fucking absurd because if he doesn't play, they won't go to a Super Bowl.
Colin Cowherd says he has all the leverage.
Wow, yeah.
That's
so
what Colin Cowherd
all
said.
All the
There's
idiots
another-
are contradicting themselves.
The idiots are contradicting themselves. And,
Yeah, Colin takes the take against Skip, who takes the contrarian.
It says, and he's batshit insane too.
Yeah.
But
They're all
but
batshit,
that's what he
man.
was saying. He's like that Zeke has it because the Cowboys need to win now.
Yeah.
But he was doing it because he's doing it to defend Jerry Jones because Jerry Jones wants to win.
Yeah.
And he's getting old and he's getting senile.
Yeah, he's gonna die soon.
So he needs to win before
Jerry
that.
recently basically said, like, I'm gonna die soon. I gotta win a Super Bowl.
One can only hope.
We'll get better. I'm
They
telling you.
might. Yeah. Turns out.
But I just it's the.
So he says he
you
has
can
no
look
leverage.
at the stats that like when Zeke is out of the fucking
Right.
off the team, we don't win. So it's like
Yeah.
if we really do have a good team this year, it's a deep team. But if Zeke sits out, that's probably
Right.
our best chances if he's on the team. So I think he has
And
all
not
the leverage.
and also not suspended.
Yeah. Yeah, there's any moment.
He is a Cowboys running back.
Yeah,
so.
and in the meantime, he's training in Mexico. It's like, he's not gonna get in any trouble down there.
In his halter top.
By the way,
Yeah, he won't be making any bad
you can't
decisions
see
down
it,
there.
but Joe's wearing Zeke's style halter top.
That's right. I'm ready.
Another quick take. Will Cain.
I'm ready to get 25 touches.
Another dumb Will Cain take. He said Tom Brady put his home up for sale in Massachusetts, and so there's a lot of speculation, like because of his new contract thing, where he's going to be a free agent technically for a second next year, which is just smart by the Patriots to hey, are you going to fall off that cliff? Let's just I think it's smart for both sides. It's nothing. But Tom Brady put his house up for sale, so now it's like
Because he's going to buy a bigger house.
probably he's going to buy a $46 million
Because he's
home.
moving into the governor's mansion.
Yeah.
Like, he's Tom Brady. Who cares?
He's going to buy Mars. But Will Cain said that
That's where his equipment is.
he was asking the audience, do you think you can ever see Brady playing for another team other than the Patriots? And he said he can see him playing for 3 other teams.
Okay.
Let me know if you think any of these would work. The New York Giants, because he has a home in New York. They just drafted Daniel Jones, who Will Cain says is going to be great.
Oh, the Tom Brady killer. The next Tom Brady.
Yeah. But, and that's, I don't know if it's that show or the show after or whatever. He's saying Daniel Jones is going to be the next thing after one preseason game.
Yes.
But Tom Brady's going to come over all this? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And then Tennessee, because their coach is a former Patriot. So that's maybe
Tom Brady
in
in Nashville?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. With his supermodel wife.
I can't wait, dude. Launch her music career and shit.
And then the Oakland Raiders.
Don't you kind of want to see that, though?
Oh, my God, do I?
Don't you?
Him with Antonio Brown.
Tom Brady on the Raiders with John Gruden. Dude.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Wait, that one makes the most sense. He's a Bay Area guy.
He is.
He's from San Mateo.
And that was one of the things that
Was he a Raiders fan growing up?
I don't know that, but I just think it's so funny that that was an argument. He's from the Bay Area.
Well, so was Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but it's dude, after playing for such a well-oiled organization for 20 years, you're gonna go to the fucking Raiders.
Well, yeah, with no coaching changes or anything, because everyone thought it was wild that Peyton Manning would ever leave the Colts. And then he did. And then he won a Super Bowl with his other team.
Yeah.
So, Tom Brady, and that's the ultimate fuck you. For him, it was more thank God. I got another one. But Tom Brady goes to the Raiders and then wins the Super Bowl? Yeah. Incredible.
I mean, it would be must-see TV. But going to the Raiders, who are going to move to Vegas.
Dude, Tom Brady. Yeah, see, that's the key. He'd be in Vegas. Are you kidding me? He's doing a lounge act, a Vegas show, dude. I'm all for it.
It's just a TB12,
Club TB12,
yeah.
at the Aria, the Metropolitan TB12.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think he's going.
Yeah,
to
I don't think
Raiders.
so either.
Let's talk about the embarrassment of the week. This is just a real quick thing, but
okay.
Skip Bayless got very excited opening a show on Undisputed. Michael Irvin compared Dak Prescott to Tom Brady and says he's nothing like Aaron Rodgers because he's not a team leader. He's way more like Tom Brady, which made Skip Bayless so excited. So I'm hearing this on my flight to Florida.
Okay.
I'm just listening to the podcast, right?
Yeah.
And he's so excited that if you
Skip
just
Bayless
listen,
is excited?
Yeah. He's so excited. So if you just go back, any listeners, go back and listen to the podcast version of Undisputed, where it starts off with a Michael Irvin, Brady, Dak comparison. It sounded like Skip was getting so excited, it sounded like he was having orgasms. And
because he's talking up Dak Prescott.
Yeah, he was.
He loves Dak Prescott.
And it made me so disturbed on my flight. I think the way I was cringing, the other
Disturbed
passengers
how?
were.
You were surprised at how hard you were getting?
No, yeah. Oh God!
You're wow! Wow! Yet again agreeing with Skip Bayless.
Now you're making me disturbed. How gross is that?
He loves Dak Prescott
And Tom Brady. If you can combine them into one thing.
Well, yeah.
With Michael Jordan. Shifting gears again. I'm going to take you. So you haven't really looked at Skip's Instagram, but I like to show the guests at least a picture. And I thought this was fucking hilarious. Skip, again, Mr. Validation, Mr. Ego. He had posted recently, a week ago, I think, a picture of his badass car and talked about how fucking great it was. And then to one-up himself or whatever, he posted this picture of his wife's car. And then I'm going to hand it to you, but I'm going to read.
A regular car.
No, it's a nice car, but this is what it says underneath. My wife Ernestine demanded equal time after I posted a pic of my new ZR1. So here is her. So he just threw a shout out to his car again.
Guy. Of course, he is.
So here is her limited edition 2018 Bentley Continental GT Super Sport convertible, 700 horsepower, Moroccan blue. We've driven it from LA to Vegas, a magic carpet ride.
Yeah.
She thinks her car could beat mine in a top end race. Right, and LeBron is better than MJ. That is layer
Why?
upon layer of fucking douchery.
Yeah. By the way, she sucks my dick in that car. Like, you may as well have just said that. Like, suck my dick in that car.
It should be
and not the way that LeBron sucks dick, the way MJ sucks dick.
It should be him flexing in the car
6-0.
with her going down on him while he's looking at a picture of Tom
Do we
Brady.
have evidence? But she's not even in the photo.
We don't know that she exists.
Yeah, we have no evidence. Ernestine.
Yeah. Who has the same birthday as Tom Brady, which I think is a little odd.
Uh-huh. She's just a figment of his imagination.
Yes.
It's a Tom Brady fever dream.
But, like, do you really think it says my wife Ernestine demanded that he post a picture after he posted it?
I'm
You
sure
really
she
think,
said that.
Yeah. I'm 100% that happened. Like, how much?
I am as certain of that as I am of Landry Jones winning the Heisman.
Yeah. He got picked on a lot. I'll say that.
Oh, my God. Well, he deserves it.
Yeah. No, he was an asshole from birth. And I think he got picked on and like you said, he deserved it.
But people love him, right?
No, nobody likes him.
But
His whole Twitter feed is 3 million people that fucking talk shit to
Yeah.
him and say he's a piece
and
of
create
shit.
podcasts.
Yeah. This guy,
We are still talking about him.
we gotta.
Oh, my God. But he really is just... I just, at this point, assume if he says anything, it's like you see on social media, like trending, like if you see Skip Bayless is trending on social media, you're like, uh-oh, what did he say this time?
Before you go, well, two quick segments before you go, but because you're a Lakers fan, I do this segment called Prick Picks. It's like where these guys, that's not you. That's
May
where,
as well be. Laker fans are not handling this new era very well.
Oh, wait, hold on. I got to fart.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Yes. Listen to that.
Jesus.
Well, that second one was a Skip Bayless take.
Oh, yeah. That
Only
was,
one of them was a fart. You
that was
try to figure out
actually,
which one.
That was a...
That's Skip's thoughts on Baker Mayfield's preseason.
Skip Bayless, because you're a Lakers guy.
Uh-huh.
He says with these two new Lakers Clippers, he's going Clippers all the way, which is funny because he hates Kawhi, but now he's suddenly kind of back on that boat.
Why does he hate Kawhi?
It's because he quit on his Spurs. He's a Spurs guy. It's a long fucking thing.
Yeah,
but,
well, do not cross Spurs fans, I guess. Yeah, the Spurs fans are all out on Kawhi.
But how do you feel about, like, it's a tough thing. Both teams are really going to be fucking great. And the Clippers do have better coaching, but...
There's a weird energy. The City of Angels has got a weird energy.
Yeah.
Like, I was in Vegas when the announcement came out. It was in the middle of the Summer League.
Yeah.
And so I've been the last couple of years. We went to Vegas to watch Zion Williamson's first game.
Right.
The earthquake happened in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
So, like, the whole arena started swaying and we left. And so, the same night, we find out that now there's four of the top 10 guys in the league are in Los Angeles, but they split them between the two teams. and Clipper fans are right to be super excited and all over it, and Laker fans are not handling it well.
Yeah.
But, like, whatever. They should, I mean...
Dude, I think...
But it's made it really easy.
To just say that it's going to be that clear cut is ridiculous because
he says they're clearly better, right?
Yeah, you can't rule out LeBron, man. You just fucking can't. Like, and
Right.
I know he got injured last season, but that's never happened before. He's older, but he still had better statistics than like Durant and Kawhi last year.
Well, it's more like a toss-up than anything else. Like, I mean, the Clippers players are both. Well, they're not even necessarily younger. Like the Lakers, Anthony Davis is like the youngest of all of those guys.
Right.
But like,
Yep.
It certainly was a big gut punch to find out that it was like the Lakers tried to recruit Kawhi Leonard and Paul George for 2 years openly, and they both came to LA to play together on the other team.
Yep.
And the guy running the team is Jerry West.
Yeah.
And I saw him sitting courtside at the Summer League the morning after the announcement happened.
Yeah.
And this guy could not have been holding court more, taking more of a victory lap. And Laker fans are like freaking out about it a little bit, like at least like the friends of mine or the different text threads that you end up on with your different fan bases. And like Laker fans are getting dangerously close to Cowboys territory, right? Where it's like, but like the brand will save us. Like it'll never be a Clippers town because come to us when you won 16 championships or whatever. And it's like, yo, we haven't won shit in a decade.
But
what do
you think? You think Lakers or Clippers?
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why they play the games.
Yeah.
It could go either way. Like, they're playing opening night and they're playing on Christmas Day.
Yeah. Can't
And
wait.
the guy who, the Clippers' best player literally just won the title.
Dude, yeah, it's funny because
He ended the Heat dynasty and the Warriors dynasty.
It's funny because I've always hated the Lakers, but because I hate Skip Bayless so much and he hates LeBron so much, I'm like becoming this like weird abstract Lakers fan. So
Dude.
I'm going Lakers.
It's gonna be a good. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be a really interesting season. And I'm just trying to hang back. I was of course upset. I wish Kawhi Leonard had signed with the team that I wish he had come. Play for my team.
Yeah.
But I got over like in about 15, 20 minutes because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be real interesting to see what happens here.
Guys, so this is weird, and I am going to go ahead and apologize. But the very end of the podcast, just the file disappeared. So I feel like quite an idiot. I feel as dumb as Will Cain. But it was just at the tail end. But what sucks is we didn't get to the part. Joe and I were talking about, I was about to ask him what he thought the life of Skip Bayless's dog was like. Hazel, I believe, is the dog. And we really tore into it. But again, I was in a state of delirium, no sleep. But I'll tell you a little bit about what I think his dog's life is like. I don't think it's a great life. I don't think Hazel's really doing too well. I think it could be in a better home. I would like to think that Ernestine takes care of it, but I feel like meanwhile Skip is just reading the dog tweets, and if there's a Cowboys game on and it's not going well, which happens quite a bit, he's just screaming and scaring the shit out of that dog. That dog probably has crazy anxiety issues. It's probably scared to death of Skip. But he will pick the dog up to make sure people can see on Facebook Live that he has a tiny little fluffy dog. And just like, see? I'm humanized, right? I'm a real person. I'm okay, right? Doesn't that make me softer? Don't you want to like me? Just like me. I have an awesome car. My wife also has an awesome car. Look, I wear Jordans. Look, check it out. Look, I have a dog. You don't like me yet? Why? Because I say all that stupid shit? Why don't you like me? Just look at my fucking dog. That dog is a pawn. That dog was bought. Just as, to soften his image. I think it's sad. I think it's weird. I think, I bet Skip has no involvement with the dog. I really think it's just to throw it in fans, in quotes, faces. Like, huh? Right? Look, I can't be all that bad. It's a fluffy, they got a fluffy dog, like a tiny fluffy dog on purpose. Like, I can't see Skip owning a dog. It's like that Ray Liotta commercial that's on recently where he's like trying to quit smoking or something, and like a Chantix or something. And at one point, this dog, presumably his dog, comes up and licks him. It's like, Ray Liotta doesn't have a dog. Neither does Skip Bayless. Neither of them would. Skip, if he had a choice, he wouldn't have a dog. If he did get a dog, it'd be like something really mean, and he would treat it like shit to make it meaner on purpose. But that's why I think he's got this fluffy dog. I just think it's just to make him be human. And it doesn't fucking work. He's not human. Anyway, that's my take on Skip's dog. I'm so bummed, Joe's. I don't have time to re-record because I'm going up to San Francisco. I've got a show on Wednesday with David Huntsberger. So I'm really bummed we lost that little part. But, and I think it ended maybe with Skip fucks his dog. Maybe that's what it was. I don't remember. Anyway, but I want to thank Joe. He was great. That was a lot of fun. You can find him on Twitter at Fain Nation, Fain Fain Nation, one in the middle there. And yeah, be sure to check out his podcast, Not a Fan Podcast. It's really fun. I've been on it. You can check that out. Kind of talk shit about me being a Cowboys fan, so that's always fun. But anyway, and also I want to thank MK Paulsen for doing that quick guest spot. That was really funny. Look for us on his podcast soon, Roommates for Life. And I'll be at San Francisco again with David Huntsberger, opening for him at the Setup Theater on Wednesday, this Wednesday, then tomorrow. Good God, I have to go to bed so I can pack. Also, I'll be in Santa Fe for the first ever Cloud Top Comedy Festival, September 12th through the 15th. So that'll be fun. And I'm excited. They're not on my website yet, DougMeller.com, but they will be soon. I've got Fart Safari shirts for sale. I sold a bunch in Orlando. People seem to really be enjoying them. So get ready for that, and some other shirts that are coming that I'm really stoked on. And also, again, Fart Safari 3 is to be recorded in November at Cap City, November 17th and 20th. So get ready for that. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Be sure to rate, subscribe, review, tell your friends. Hit me up for any feedback. Tell me what you want to hear. If there was a dumb argument I missed, it's just so hard to pick a few because they're all so bad. But if there's something you really want to hear me rip into, go nuts, or give me your take, and I'll give you a shout out. All right. See you next week.